In the previous episodes, we built a financial model step by step. Growth, sales, cost of sales, expenses, scenarios, and the wider financial picture. Now we are at the point where we want to turn that work into something investor facing. This episode is about using the pitch deck design studio to package your model into a cleaner, more presentable format so you can start showcasing the business to investors. We are still inside Uniflow, but now we moved into the pitch deck area. This page is designed to help you take the financial outputs you've already built and present them visually with a format that feels more suitable for external conversations. So instead of just reviewing internal dashboards, you are now shaping how the story of the business will look when someone else sees it. At the top of the page, you can see the Pitch Deck Design Studio. This is where you adjust the styling and export settings for your brand visuals. The main idea is simple. The numbers come from the model you've already built, but here you control how those numbers are framed and presented. Whenever you change the numbers will change in here. The first important setting is projection duration. Here you can choose how many years you want to show in the export with options from year 1 to year 5. And in this example, it's set to 5 years. That matters because not every investor conversation needs the same level of detail. A shorter view can be useful when you apply for grants or loans, with a longer view that can help show the scale of the business over time to venture capital investors. Below that, you can control layout, colors, background text, typography of the deck. You can even add your logo here. This is not about changing the underlying business model, it's about making sure the presentation feels aligned with your brand and appropriate for the type of investor audience you are speaking to. The page also makes it clear that your visual identity will be preserved in the export. That's important because when you share a pitch deck, you don't want it to feel generic. You want it to look like an extension of your company. Further down, you can see the actual financial content that will fit into the export. In this case, we are looking at the 5-year financial projection with value aggregated over 12-month rolling period, starting from May 2026. The table shows headline metrics like gross profit, overheads, opex, and net profit across year 1 to 5. This is where work from earlier episodes comes together. The growth assumptions, revenue, setup, cost of sales, and the expenses are no longer just inputs in the separate section. They now form one investor-facing financial story. When you present this to investors, the goal is not to walk them through every assumptions one by one. Instead, you use this export to show the big picture clearly, where revenue is going, what the overhead base looks like, and how profitability changes over time. That gives investors a fast way to understand the scale of the opportunity, the cost structure of the business, and the financial path you are projecting. Once the design and projection setting look right, the final step is to use export. That allows you to take the numbers and styling you've chosen here and turn them into something you can actually share with investors. At that point, the pitch decks become the bridge between the internal financial model and the external fundraising conversation. So this is where everything comes together. All the work you've done so far, from growth and revenue to cost of sales and expenses, is now being shaped into a story you can actually share with investors. Once the design and projection settings feel right, you can export the deck and use it to support real fundraising conversation. But the deck on its own is only the beginning. Next, we'll move into investor pipeline and fundraising, where you can track conversations, model how much funding you need, and see exactly how incoming investments affect your runway, liquidity, and cash flow over time.